Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we are going to do a personality reading for Yeri in celebration of her birthday. When I was doing the schedule for March, for whatever reason, this month I was like, oh, who has birthdays this month? And I was trying to see if I could align some videos for those people. And well, I realized that Yeri was somewhere in the beginning, so I was like, sure, why not? Let's do a personality reading for her. So in this reading, I have multiple questions that we're going to, or like different areas that we're going to look at. So go to the description below if you want to like see the timestamps and jump around different sections that you might be a bit more interested in. But if not, let's just start with the beginning and the first question of her reading, which is one card that will represent how she sees herself. Or two cards. So we have the sea serpent and the dragon. So both of them are spirit cards, meaning that Yeri has a very high self-esteem. those cards are quite big. Here we have the solar plexus we have the sacral chakra and the solar plexus. So with the sea serpent, this shows that Yeri sees herself as someone that is super abundant, strong feminine energy. There is this sense of she's very intuitive. She really likes water or be surrounded by water, maybe water sounds or just looking at the sea and the ocean or things that make her very happy or make her feel at peace and make her feel calm. If she were to close her eyes and meditate, there's a high chance that she will imagine herself surrounded by water or close to water. The sea serpent also shows that Yeri sees herself as someone that knows how to protect herself, how to take care of herself, and how to protect the people around her. Like, she's very good at putting up healthy boundaries. And there's this sense of like infinity. Now, with the dragon, here we have the solar plexus, meaning that she feels very creative, she feels confident, she feels optimistic. So she sees herself as a person that's super powerful. She sees herself as someone that's very spiritual. She sees herself as someone that knows how to work with herself and she knows how to connect with others very well. There's also this sense of like she sees herself as someone that has a very good eye or someone that's very observant. When I mentioned feminine energy with the sea serpent, I was thinking of like describing what feminine energy is, and the dragon with the eye is kind of leading me back to talking about that. And feminine energy is the type of energy that is very receptive, very observant. It is one that likes to lay back and watch how things are unfolding and seeing where things are headed. Feminine energy is a type that doesn't really take action in a very proactive or aggressive way. It's a bit more, as I mentioned earlier, laid back, and it's one that likes to attract opportunities into their life rather than chase after them. So Yeri sees herself as someone that is very good at manifesting, and she also sees herself as someone that is very magnetic or is able to attract abundance into her life. Also, the other thing that I'm getting with these two cards is that Yeri sees herself as like the protagonist of her own story. So I'm saying that because the card or the picture that is on the cover of the Wild Unknown Tarot, which is the name of this deck, is the dragon's eye. So that's why I was thinking like, oh, okay, Yeri sees herself as a protagonist of her own story. And if that's the case, that could explain why there's a lot of like confidence exuding from these two cards. There's this sense of, she also feels like she is the creator of her own life, meaning that she does take life on her own hands and just does what she wants to do. I do believe that she thinks of fate and destiny as something that is part of her life, but I also feel that she understands that she has a lot more power than others may expect. And by that I mean that there's this sense of a carefree energy that she has where she goes like, let me try everything and see what works, and if it doesn't work, well, it wasn't meant to be. So she doesn't have like control issues where she wants to be involved in many things at once or involved in the whole process of everything, but it's more along the lines where she understands that there's things outside of her control. So if that's the case, she will just try everything and see what works. So there's no baggage, there's no resistance or anything. There's this sense of like she feels powerful in a sense of like, I don't lose anything with asking, I don't lose anything with trying. And that could also be why she's able to manifest things very well in her life. So she sees herself as the creator of her life and her destiny, but she also understands that there's things outside of her control, but the trust that she has that things will work is something that empowers her even more. Now let's go on to the second question, which is to figure out what is Yeri's personality. Okay, so what is Yeri's personality? I want one more card. Perfect. So her personality is, we have the 10 of coins, the 7 of cups, and the Empress. So the 10 of coins shows that Yeri feels like she is someone that's super abundant. She is someone that does think of the bigger picture, or she does have things planned out for her future. I'm not saying that it's like super detailed, but she does have like a set of goals that she looks forward to and works towards. So she's not aimlessly going through her life trying to accomplish things or just trying to live life. It does seem like with the 10 of coins that she has goals that she aspires to achieve. And she's someone that is kind of slow and steady with some of these goals. Like, she's very persistent, very determined. This 10 of coins makes me think that she has this vision of having an established career or having an abundant future where she has all of her material needs met, where she's able to provide for other people and share her abundance with others. The 10 of coins is supposed to symbolize someone that is doing so well for themselves that they're able to share that legacy with their people and for future generations. So her family, if she were to have kids, her kids and her grandkids, if that were to happen, right? So it's kind of like having such an abundance that is able to trickle down through generations. So this 10 of coins kind of shows that Yeri's personality is one where she's always thinking about the future. I don't think she's one that necessarily plans everything to the smallest detail. There is a carefree vibe that Yeri has, but there is a sense that she does try to look out for the people around her and take care of them, as we saw earlier with the sea serpent. And she does have the personality where she always wants to provide for others and take care of others, and in a way be like the breadwinner of her house or of the people that she cares about. So she has this personality of being part of a community or taking care of her community or just taking care of her close circles and her close network. Now, the 7 of Cups, she is someone that is always looking out for opportunities. She has a very good eye for people, so she's good at networking, but she's also very good at just seeking out opportunities or making opportunities open up for her. So she talks to the right people, or she's very determined. So if there's something that she wants, she tries to look at all the different possibilities on how she can accomplish a certain goal. Because the 7 of Cups talks about opportunities, and here we have like, it looks like it's like Aladdin, like the magic lamp, right? So it makes me think that she is someone that is very lucky to other people, or she's very abundant, and that's because she is someone that is actively seeking out opportunities. And with her feminine energy, she just starts studying like, okay, so which one is the most convenient for me, or which one is in better alignment with what I'm looking for, which kind of leads me on to the third card, which is the Empress. So the Empress is Venus energy, which means that Yeri's personality is one where she's very charming, very attractive, very magnetic. She is someone that puts people at ease. I do feel that Yeri is also, she has a type of personality that a lot of people kind of look up to. Yeri has a personality where people can't help but like admire her or want to be like her, or like people want to surround themselves with her energy. Now with the Empress, there's a sense of Yeri's personality is one where a lot of people do respect her, either because of her way of doing things or her personality, like people, or maybe even her legacy, like people do respect her a lot in her field and outside of her field. There's also this sense of Yeri knows how to indulge with the beautiful things in life, meaning that she knows how to relax, she knows how to have fun, there's no guilt with just doing the things that she likes and the things that she enjoys. There's a sense of just being happy with life and always making the best out of life, which we kind of saw earlier with the optimistic side of this dragon. Also, this Empress, since it's surrounded by flowers, made me think of the Nine of Pentacles or the Nine of Coins, which is supposed to show someone that has financial independence, someone that has healed themselves, and someone that feels pretty stable on their own. So I do feel that Yeri's personality is one where she does very well for herself, but she also really looks out for her community, always takes care of them, and always provides for them. So she has a personality of someone that is like for the people, right? Like she networks with people to open up opportunities for herself, but she also takes care of those people that she is working with. She's so charming that she's able to convince people to help her out. However, she does go out of her way to make sure that these people also get something in exchange. May it be a fun project, or may it be that she will take care of them and provide for them as well, or just, her soothing company, something like that. Like, she's very good at just creating meaningful bonds with people. Now let's go on to the third question, which is her strengths. We're going to look at her strengths, and then we're going to look at her weaknesses. So let's start off with her strengths. So what is Yeri's strength as a person? The first card that we have is Saturn. We have the Seven of Wands. Wait, a card just flew out. We have the Six of Swords reverse. And we have the Ace of Cups. So I wanted to point out that in Saturn, we had the number 19 on it, which is the number of the sun in tarot. So that makes me think that she's very optimistic. The other card that made me think that she's very optimistic is the Ace of Wands. What? Is the Ace of Cups that we have right here. She's super, super optimistic. She has a very light-hearted heart. Vibe energy. Like, she doesn't take things too personally. She always tries to put her best foot forward. She tries to stay happy. She tries to focus on the things that work and not dwell too much on resentments or anger. But let's look at Saturn. So Yeri's biggest strength is that she doesn't give up, especially with this Seven of Wands. She is someone that's super determined. She's hardworking. She fights for the things that she wants, for the things that she aspires to be. Like, she works very hard towards them, and she is not, since she doesn't take things personally, if something doesn't work in her life, she doesn't let that like beat her down. Instead, her biggest strength is her ability to just kind of like stand up again and try once again. There's a sense of it doesn't matter how many tests or challenges she encounters in life. Yeri does see those as growing experiences and learning experiences. So she just continues improving as a person. She is someone that is so determined to achieve her goals that any obstacle that she encounters, she will overcome. Even if it takes her time, she will still get there. This Saturn is a planet that puts us in a very limiting environment, or puts very strong boundaries on us. These limitations are meant to be for us to either break free or to work within these boundaries that have been set for us. And usually Saturn is a planet that does reward us for our hard work and for learning the lessons that we have to learn, but it does put us in a very tight position. Like, it does, like, if there's something that you want to do, like, you in general, not with Yeri in this case, it's like, if you want to accomplish something, or you want to do something, Saturn is a type of planet that will will put this blockages so like that you can't unlock it unless it's the right time, or you've gone through the right process to achieve it. Like, learn what you had to learn and accomplish the things that you have to accomplish. Saturn is one that, it's a planet of time, so it does take its sweet time to give us our rewards. But again, the rewards are things that that will be guaranteed to you if you work for them. It it pays off basically to work through the things that you have to work through. So with Yeri, that kind of shows the same thing. It's like, even if it takes her a long time to accomplish what she wants to accomplish, she knows she will get there, and that optimistic determination that she has, it's what fuels her to overcome any obstacle she encounters, regardless of how difficult it could be. Now, the Six of Swords reverse tells me that one of Yeri's biggest strengths is that even if she can't walk away from a difficult situation, or if she is in mental turmoil, like she's overthinking something, or the communication with people is not really working out because there's misunderstandings or everyone's too focused on themselves, this Six of Swords reverse tells me that if she can't walk away from a stressful situation, she's able to endure it with a lot of optimism, if that makes sense. Like, there's a sense of, again, Yeri doesn't really take things personally, so she understands that if someone is going through a rough time, she shouldn't think it's her fault that they're going through that, if that makes sense. Like, she's able to put this boundary between, this is your problem and this is my problem. So she's very good at understanding when people are going through a rough time, then maybe she should just leave them alone rather than trying to like push them to continue with the project or continue with what they were doing. And this Ace of Cups tells me that she's very good with relationships. She's very good, as I mentioned earlier, establishing meaningful bonds with people, but also she's very good at attracting people, because I'm thinking, how these bees are going through like the honey of this cup. So it makes me think of like moths to a flame, that saying, right? So again, Yeri is, one of her biggest strengths is that she's very magnetic and very attractive. So she's able to just pull in good opportunities, pull in people that could help her. She's just very good at having people in her groups, and her social circles are big. Also, with this Ace of Cups, I do feel that she is someone that's very creative, very intuitive. So she knows, like, timing is something that she's very good at figuring out. She's also very good at just thinking of good projects or good ideas. There's also the sense of, like, her biggest strength is that she's a problem solver as well. So if she's a hardworking person, because I'm thinking of the bees. So she's very hardworking. And she's very good at helping people that are also going through a lot of overthinking or are finding it challenging to have a harmonious life. Like, she's very good at bringing some sort of stability with them. Also, with this Saturn energy, I do feel that she's very vigilant and I already mentioned how determined she is, but she's very good at like setting a routine or a schedule and following it. Now let's go into the fourth question, which is, what are Yeri's weaknesses? We have Mercury. So maybe communication could be something that she struggles with. Let's take out the tarot. So what are Yeri's weaknesses? We have the Star. We have the Moon. And the Three of Wands. So with this Mercury energy, Yeri's biggest weakness, or like some of the things that she struggles with, is moving quickly or going through changes. I mean, her biggest strength with the Saturn is like she's a slow and steady type of person. She works hard for change to happen. But this Mercury energy is a very fast moving planet. So Yeri finds it very difficult to either gather a lot of information to make a decision, or she finds it very difficult to follow trends. She finds it maybe even a bit challenging to communicate constantly with the people that she has in her circle. Like, she could have so many people that she always feels like communication is not enough. Like, she's always missing someone, or she's always like very busy communicating back and forth with so many different people that maybe she feels like her network is a little bit too big for her, or like it's a little bit too much. Or this Mercury energy could mean that one of Yeri's weaknesses, or one of the things that she struggles with a lot, is with change. Like, she prefers to have a slow and steady approach to the things that she wants in her life. So if something changes like 360 very quickly, she finds it kind of hard to adapt and to adjust to those things. Here we have with Saturn we have Capricorn energy. With Mercury we have Gemini and Virgo energy, meaning that these two mutable signs are very good at adapting. They're very good at adjusting. They're chameleons when it okay, Gemini is like a chameleon when it comes to interacting with people. They're very good at like changing their personality to like enhance some features over others so like that they're able to adapt with whoever they're with or the circles that they're in. And with Virgo we have someone that is a bit more fixed or not fixed because that's another astrology term. Virgo is a little bit more established and a little bit more set with their way of doing things. However, Virgo is very good at working towards all of these tedious things that have to get done in order to accomplish something. And I think that's where Yeri falls a bit short. It's like she's very good at communicating with people. She's very good at staying determined and getting things done. But when it comes to focusing like on the little details and like the practical things that have to be done for her to accomplish her goals, that's when she struggles a little bit. That's when she goes like, I have these very big ideas, but how do I concentrate on like the little steps, the building blocks that will get me to accomplish these big ideas? And that's when she struggles a little bit. That's where she needs to put a little bit more effort. And I think it's because Yeri has a very long-term view of doing things. She has a very good focus on the bigger picture and on these big goals that since that is her nature, she finds it a bit difficult to kind of ground herself and start working on the little pieces that can create this big picture. So and I'm saying this because we have the star and the moon. So the star talks about dreaming, it talks about hope, trust. There's this sense also of like a dream come true, a sense of a silver lining or guidance. So this tells me that the first thing that I thought of is that Yeri finds it very difficult to communicate to other people what her dreams are and what her goals are. She finds it very challenging to tell other people what the big picture is. Because again, she finds it very difficult to think of the building blocks to get there. So I do feel that she has encountered a lot of people that when she says this is what I aspire to do or to accomplish in life, many people the first thing that they ask is like, so how are you gonna make it happen? And that's when she falls short. And that's what she finds a bit challenging and difficult. Also, she may find it kind of difficult to communicate what her goals are to people. So it's easier to just be like, this is the offer that I have for you. This is a project that I want to work on. Rather than to talk about her purpose or her intentions behind such a project. I think that's when she finds it a bit difficult because she may be seeing things in like a third eye or crown chakra type of way. Like it's just vibes and energy. So it's kind of difficult to talk to people in a 3D type of way because there's quite a gap of communication, if that makes sense. Here with the star we have Aquarius energy, and with the moon we have Pisces energy. So she is, one of her biggest weaknesses is that she views the world in a very different way from everybody else. So she finds it kind of difficult to communicate how she sees the world or what her expectations are to other people. With the moon, there's this sense of, well, here we have a werewolf, so maybe one of Yeri's weaknesses is that she can get angry quite easily, or her mood is quite a roller coaster sometimes. Like sometimes she's very excited because Mercury could show someone that has Mercurian energy could seem a bit bipolar, or it could seem a bit neurotic, or a bit unstable. So one of Yeri's weaknesses could be that her emotions are like up and down. She is usually very optimistic and very determined, but in her everyday life, she feels like one day she's very happy, the next day she's going through it and finding it a bit challenging to do things. So I do feel that her mood is a bit all over the place. So this moon card tells me that the unpredictable factor of her life, or the thing that is a mystery to her or something that is unknown to her, because the moon talks about all of that we cannot see clearly, it's her emotions. Those are like, that's the biggest unpredictable factor that she has, and I think she sees that as a bit of a weakness because it gets in the way of her routine, it gets in the way of her schedule. And I do feel that because of something like that, it's the reason why she may find it a bit difficult to continue nourishing the communication channels that she has with people, because sometimes she will be in such a good mood that she's like, okay, let's talk, let's do this, but then other times when she's in like a very bad mood, or she doesn't really feel motivated or inspired to do what she wants to do, that's when she starts struggling to maintain such relationships. And since those moods are kind of unpredictable, it annoys her, and that could be the reason why she sees it as a weakness. Now, the Three of Wands, to me, the Three of Wands talks about contracts, it talks about compromise, it talks about external help. So I think one of Yeri's biggest weaknesses is to ask for help. She is someone that prefers to do things on her own because she is a predictable factor. And what I mean by that is like she can control how she feels, she can control what she's going to say, what she's going to do. At least to a certain extent, she's able to, right? Like with the moon, we kind of said that her mood or her emotions are a little bit out of whack, a little bit crazy for her. And because of that, she may find it a bit difficult to sometimes get things done. But aside from that, she feels like she's a predictable factor. She knows how to work with herself. She knows what to do when she's going through a rough time. She knows what to do when she's motivated. Like she already understands herself as a person. So this Three of Wands tells me that she finds it very difficult to include other people in her business. And even though she's very good at networking and she is all about like the community and the people, that doesn't mean that she finds it easy to ask these people for help. I do feel that it's like, oh, let's work on a project and it's going to be mutually beneficial for both of us, or it's going to be just something fun and enjoyable, then she's okay with it, right? Because it's still lighthearted. When it comes to something very personal or something very important or something that is a bit more heavy rather than something lighthearted, that's when Yeri finds it very difficult to ask for help. Is like when she's going through it or going through a challenging time, she finds it difficult to like reach out and ask someone to be there for her. She is someone that when she's going through a difficult time, she prefers to kind of be on her own and figure it out for herself. And again, I did mention that she is usually surrounded by people and she leaves for the community, but when she's going through a rough time, she prefers to be on her own and figure things out by herself. I do feel that she doesn't like to feel like she's a burden to somebody else, or to feel like she is, she finds it a bit more difficult when it comes to something that is a bit deeper. If that makes sense. Like, okay, let me get my thoughts together. She just finds it very difficult to reach out for help and ask for help when she needs it. Especially if it's something that is very important to her. Like if it's something that carries either some baggage or it's very personally, if it's a private matter, she finds it difficult to include other people in it. Okay, now let's go to the fifth question, which will be talking about Yeri's fears. So what is she afraid of, or where does she feel like she lacks in life? So we have the Wheel of Fortune reverse, which is funny since it's here with Saturn. We have the Nine of Wands reverse. And we have the Hierophant reverse. So one of the things that Yeri is the most afraid of is for things to not go her way. And I'm saying this because with the Wheel of Fortune reverse, there's this sense of like one of the things that Yeri hates the most, or that she's the most afraid of, is stagnation. She hates when things are not moving. She gets annoyed when her efforts are not paying off, or when she's not seeing results after doing things. It's like it really annoys her, or she starts feeling afraid that, is she in the right path? Is she doing the right thing? Is like what's blocking her? Like I think not knowing what's slowing her down, or not knowing what obstacle she's overcoming, is something that she really fears, or she doesn't really like experiencing. And I'm saying that because the Nine of Wands upright talks about someone that's very cautious, someone that has gone through quite some rough experiences, therefore they're not reckless, they're a bit more defensive, they have their walls up. But with it being reversed, I do feel that one of the things that Yeri is afraid of, or she finds it quite challenging to do, is be vulnerable with other people, which we kind of already talked about with the Three of Wands. But also, she finds it very, like, she doesn't really like when she doesn't know what she's doing or where she stands. With the Wheel of Fortune, we have Jupiter, and with the Hierophant, we have Taurus energy. So again, Taurus energy shows that Yeri is a slow and steady type of person. When she has a goal, she goes for it. She's constantly working towards it. So when she feels like her routine is not good enough, or when she feels like it's not paying off, the hard work is not paying off, that's when she starts getting frustrated. And with this Hierophant reverse, I do feel that one of the things that Yeri fears the most is a disruption in her routine, or whatever stable foundation she has. She doesn't like when it shifts or when it changes. There's also this sense of like, one of Yeri's biggest fears is that the people she admires will disappoint her because they don't meet her expectations. That's something that just randomly came up. Because the Hierophant does talk about like a spiritual leader, or it talks about someone that has some sort of authority, someone that is like either like the leader of a community, of a group, of a circle, is like someone that is the role model of a certain group, someone that is establishing the rules, someone that is helping them understand a certain belief system or whatever, right? So in this case, it shows how like Yeri is either afraid, or like she fears the idea of whoever she admires will disappoint her, or she herself is a bit of a leader, or is kind of like someone that people kind of look up to or admire. And because of that, one of Yeri's fears could be disappointing these people by showing her vulnerable side and being like, I'm human, right? I feel like that's something that she's afraid of, that she will disappoint her people. And the other thing that I'm getting, if we combine all of these three cards, is that one of the things that Yeri fears the most is when things are changing, she will not be able to adapt fast enough or adjust accordingly in such a way that she will leave herself in a vulnerable spot, or she will be in such a position that she will not be able to lead the people that are looking up to her through such a change. And I do feel that that's something she's afraid of. Like, if there's people that rely on her or people that look up to her, that she's not able to meet their expectations because she encountered an obstacle she was not ready for. Which, I mean, I think that's very interesting, but let's go on to the next thing. So, the sixth question is, what are Yeri's talents, or what are her gifts? We have the Queen of Cups. This is Scorpio energy, by the way. The card that just fell is the Eight of Cups. And we have the Eight of Pentacles reverse. So I'm going to start with the Eight of Pentacles reverse. Even though Yeri is a very hardworking person, she doesn't put her health at risk, and she doesn't put her mental health at risk either, or either her emotional one. This Eight of Pentacles reverse tells me that she knows when to relax. She knows when to calm down. She's very hardworking, but not at the expense of herself. She's able to prioritize herself and the things that have to be done to accomplish something. So she does have a sense of balance here. This Eight of Pentacles reverse also tells me that one of Yeri's biggest strengths, or one of her talents, is her ability to see the bigger picture, so she's not too focused on the details. And that helps her to not stay preoccupied with things that are not meaningful, if that makes sense. It's like, you know how Virgo is known for focusing so much on the details that they become perfectionists, and then being perfectionist can sometimes get in the way of them finishing anything. Well, with Yeri, is like, since she doesn't really have that, she is able to get things done because she's not preoccupied with all of the little pieces and all of the little details. She kind of just goes like, okay, yeah, this is the structure, or like the big picture that I'm focusing on, and I just need something that's close enough to it. I don't need anything super specific. So her flexibility is something that she, like, one of her biggest gifts or talents. Now, the other thing that I was going to say with this Eight of Cups, Yeri is very good at walking away from situations before they get bad. So the Eight of Cups usually talks about walking away from something that doesn't emotionally satisfy you anymore. It's not necessarily because it was a bad opportunity or a bad situation. It just wasn't for you, right? So with Yeri, it kind of shows that Yeri is not someone that entertains people or situations that she does not enjoy or that she doesn't like. And what I mean by that is, like, if she doesn't feel it's meaningful in any way, shape, or form, she just walks away. She does not entertain things that she doesn't like. She does not entertain things that she doesn't think will be beneficial. And she doesn't entertain people that she could care less about. So if she's indifferent about a situation, she just kind of walks away. If she doesn't find any sort of entertainment or any sort of, like, you're a stepping stone towards what I need or what I want, or like this situation is challenging but it's getting me a step closer to my goals, then she just walks away. And also the other thing, as I was saying, is like if there's a problem, she's able to, in a way, spiritually kind of sense that there's something about to go down. So she's very good at just kind of walking away from a situation or walking away from a person that means trouble. Like, she's very good at detecting when something is about to go down. And that's because usually with the Eight of Cups, we see like the moon in the background, and like as this person's walking away, they're walking towards a mountain. So Yeri's biggest talent or her biggest gift is that she's not afraid of walking from a situation, even if she knows that the alternative is going to be very challenging and it's a path that she has never taken before or no one has ever taken before. And that's because she just has this intuitiveness and she just trusts that she's going to overcome it somehow. She knows things are going to work out. And she will prefer to go down an unknown path that has challenging periods in it than to stay in a situation that she just does not enjoy. Now, this Queen of Cups. So this Queen of Cups tells me that Yeri is very intuitive. She is very spiritual. There's this sense of working with other people, because I'm seeing these two mushrooms and I'm thinking of, I think it's the Lovers in this tarot deck. Those mushrooms are red though, but I'm thinking of like the Lovers, and I'm also thinking of the Two of Cups just in general. So this tells me that Yeri is very good at creating one-on-one relationships with people, like very close bonds. So she has a sense of creating very good loyalty between people, or like whoever she has in her very close circles, there's complete loyalty within them. Also, this Queen of Cups tells me that she's very intuitive. She is also very good with transformation. If we connect this with Scorpio, like, she's very good at just readjusting into situations and be like, okay, I don't need these things. Let me just get rid of this baggage and wake up anew. So one of Yeri's talents is to just reset herself or just balance herself once again. She's just very good at that. Also, I mentioned earlier that Yeri could be working on like a third eye or crown chakra type of thing. So if that's the case, that just kind of shows that Yeri is highly intuitive, very good clarity, very good at connecting to the universe and destiny, to her spiritual side. So she really trusts her gut feeling. She trusts in her instincts, and she's very good at listening to them. There's also this sense of like she's very good at just knowing things to be true. I don't really know what the word is for that, but she sometimes just has like the answer to things. She doesn't know where it comes from, but she just knows the answer. Like all of a sudden it's like, this feels right, this is the right path, or this is the right thing to do. And again, that's just her intuition at work. Even though Yeri's emotions could fluctuate and kind of go up and down in an unexpected way for her, and even though that's something that she sees as a weakness, I do feel that that's actually one of her talents, her ability to, because how should I put it, I do feel that sometimes her mood changes because she's like a sponge that is able to observe her environment and the people that she's surrounded with. So that could also be the reason why she has very strong boundaries. Like, I think she just kind of grew up being very receptive, and either her sensitivity is like sensory overload, or her sensitivity could be like emotionally she can just understand people and feel how they're feeling. So like an empath. And if she has those abilities, that could explain why she has very strong boundaries, because that's the only way she can survive. Is like, she needs to put these walls around her so that she doesn't get out of her balance and out of her center because of her surroundings. And that's actually one of her talents, because that makes her be more understanding of people and of situations. I mean, that sensitivity is what allows her to identify when there's a storm ahead and being able to walk away from it. It's just that, of course, it can be quite overwhelming and can throw her off her center sometimes. So that's where it can be a bit of a weakness for her. But aside from that, it's one of her talents. But before we close off this reading, let's go on to the very last question, which is just figuring out Yeri's life purpose, or what is her life mission. So we have the Angel of Mysteries, and we have Left Hand with Judgment. With that Judgment card, I'm getting that Yeri's life mission is to make decisions. It's kind of strange, because with Judgment, I'm thinking of someone that is like, this is the final word. This is the decision that we're going to make. This is the path that we're taking. It's like someone that has this assertive energy to them. And this Angel of Mysteries tells me that Yeri's life mission, or her life purpose, is to be a bit of like a pioneer of sorts. Or like being the person that guides people towards a path of unknown nature, or like a path that has not been taken before. And she just makes decisions. She just goes like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's like she is that person that is meant to bring clarity in a moment of uncertainty or confusion, or a moment filled with unknowns. So one of the things that I'm getting is like, if people don't have data on how to execute a certain situation, because if it has never happened before or whatever, then Yeri's life mission is to be the initiator, or that one person that takes that first step and says, why don't we try this? Why don't we do this? So what I'm getting here is that Yeri's life mission is to always jump into the unknown and try new things. With the Angel of Mysteries is like not being afraid of making mistakes, not being afraid of doing things that other people have not done before. So not being conventional, being unique, taking a risk, is like, those are things that are meant for Yeri. I almost say sulky, so I wonder if that's something as well for her, like just taking risks. And with this Left Hand Judgment, there's this sense of like, Yeri's life purpose is to use her intuition and her skills to make decisions, being assertive. I'm thinking of like the Queen of Swords in Justice. Even though there is a Judgment card in tarot, I'm actually, because the Justice card has this woman with a sword, and it's like a double-edged sword. It's supposed to show how when justice is served, it's not always to your benefit. It's just like, it creates balance, but it's very good at punishing those that need to be punished, and it's also very good at rewarding those that have to be rewarded, right? So that's why it's like a double-edged sword. You do one thing, and some people will have to pay the consequences, and those consequences could be good or bad, right? It's like cause and effect, basically. But yeah, also with Left Hand, I was thinking of how, I don't know if it's just me or like if other people have mentioned this before, but I see my right hand as the one that creates things, since I'm right-handed, and I see my left hand as like the spiritual one. So it's kind of like, because I do feel that some people say that when you shuffle cards, you're supposed to shuffle with your left hand, and that is a way of connecting more to your spiritual side. So I do feel that with Yeri, one of her life purpose is being able to use her intuition and her spiritual side as a way of gathering information when on the 3D there's not enough data, if that makes sense. And then using that as a way to create a path, an opportunity, which we kind of mentioned that that's part of her personality. She's very good at creating opportunities for herself and opening up doors for her. So I do feel that that's her life mission, but to a greater scale. It's like being able to bring opportunities to other people because she herself was able to seek those out. there again, I hope I was able to explain myself that like very well. This whole idea of like, if there's no information in the 3D, no one has done it before, then she's able to bring down information from like the heavens or from the ether or like from the unknown, bring down that information and be like, okay, why don't we try this, why don't we try that? And this assertiveness that she has and her ability to just make a decision on how to execute something is her life mission, being able to guide others by just making decisions basically. And also I'm getting the sense of like having clear judgment, so being able to have enough discernment to know what is the right path to take. And in this case, the right path is just the path that will move everyone forward. Right? The right path is not necessarily like there's right or wrong, as much as like the right path is more along the lines of like just being able to experience life with all the good and bad, being able to just continue growing. So yeah, so that is Yeri's personality reading. I thought her reading was very interesting, very fun. It was very clear, but okay, look, it was Yeri, so I was expecting a little bit of silliness, a little bit of goofiness, but her reading was actually quite serious this time. I mean, isn't serious does not mean bad, as much as in this case we didn't get no like trip to Cancun or anything. Which I mean, I still find it funny. Like, if you guys have seen my channel for quite a long time, you guys will know what I mean with like, it was like a zombie apocalypse and a trip to Cancun, and that was Yeti's like twin flame reading, which was so long ago. I don't know if you guys even remember, and if you were to find it, you will have to write Red Velvet twin flame reading or something like that. Anyway, but in that reading, since then, it's kind of been like the joke of like, when are we going to get like another story like that? And this time it was a bit more serious. We didn't get anything that silly. We didn't get any stories that were kind of crazy. If anything, the most like silly or Yeti thing to happen here was how she sees herself, with like a dragon. You know, how does she see herself as a dragon, a mythical creature, someone out of this world? You know, that's like the most like silliness that we got from her this time. But aside from that, I do feel that this reading was very interesting. I hope you guys liked it because it was so, like, how should I put it? It was quite linear. Like, I was able to see the picture very well. It was very clear to me, and it was kind of like when we went from one question to the other, it kind of just like picked up from where we left off. It wasn't like individual sections. It was like, oh, we finished with this, but it kind of bleeds into this other question, and it kind of also worked with that other question. Like, it felt like we were going on a journey, and it all was connected. Of course, it's connected because it's all Yeti, but I hope you understand what I mean with like the way that the cards were interpreted, the way that the messages that the cards had, it all kind of just flowed very smoothly as like one entity. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this reading, or that you enjoyed it, or at least you find it entertaining. I will see you guys in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. You know, happy birthday to Yeri. I hope that I see a bunch of beautiful fan art so I can save on my phone. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Love and healing from my part to you. And